This is the Knowledge Catalog, Grade 9 Biology, and we still are featuring the following learning competency, which is relating species extinction to the failure of populations of organisms to adapt to abrupt changes in the environment. If you have your learner's module beside you, you may open it in Unit 1, Module 3, pages 15 to 20. Let's begin. The usual, this session is divided into 3 parts. The first part, up until the last part, is going to be purely discussion, so I hope that you will bear with me. The first topic for the discussions is going to be deforestation. So I would like you to take a moment to observe what happened, or to observe the features of this photo. For the illustrations that I used in this presentation, I gave extra effort in searching for photos na nakatag Philippines. Okay, so the first cause of deforestation, or the clearing of most of our forests, especially in our country, the Philippines, is kaingin. Kaingin, if I'm not mistaken, if you were going to translate it into English, it means slash and burn, or it is a method of slash and burn. It involves clearing of land. The second cause of deforestation is illegal logging. Logging only becomes illegal if it involves the selective cutting of rare and valuable trees for their wood. May mga trees talaga, may mga wood trees na hindi talaga pinapayagang ma-fell, or ibig sabihin nun is ma-cut down. Pero if halimbawa, kasi medyo precious nga sila. And they are precious maybe because of the kind of wood that they have. And if that wood is really rare and it's valuable, therefore, it can be used for really important stuff, or really important pieces of furniture. So yeah, there are people who would really love to have these kinds of wood for their furniture, and they actually are paying for it. So it's a really profitable endeavor if you're gonna look at it. But if the tree concerned is really rare, ibig sabihin ang konti na lang ng mga trees na yan, and that tree concerned is also valuable, dapat protektahan natin sila. Thus, there are laws that are protecting these trees from logging, and if they are going to be still felled, or they're still going to be cut, that is considered illegal. The next cause of deforestation is turning agricultural lands into commercial projects. Farmers lose lands to developers that establish malls or subdivisions. Agricultural lands being turned into housing projects is a common scene in the country. Siguro you may say, oh, this is a social issue. Actually, we are not trying to say that turning these agricultural lands into commercial lands as a purely bad thing. Like, there are instances when indeed kailangan na talaga ma-turn nun into a commercial land kasi baka hindi na talaga tillable yung soil, or for whatever reason, baka pati farmers are mag-agree. And when we say farmers lose lands to developers, what we mean here lang talaga are those instances when farmers were powerless in keeping the land that they were tilling for so many years already. Okay, so this only applies to those instances when, to those cases when farmers had really little power, or actually no power in keeping their lands, or perhaps they were also forced by some other factors, like baka na tawag doon, they were being extorted. I don't know what maybe the reasons why that can happen. Pero yeah, some farmers they suffer greater losses. They suffer a worse situation, a worse kind of life by keeping the land, and it may have been caused by the developers, or by the other entities that are claiming the land that they were tilling. And so, despite the fact that they would like to keep the land sana, they just can't. And they were, in a way, forced to vacate the land. So may mga subdivisions na mga binibuild sa mga former agricultural lands. Meron ding mga malls na binibuild sa mga former agricultural lands. Kung hindi naman, binibuild na sila ng roads na mag-cut through dun sa mga agricultural lands na yun. The next cause of deforestation is quite natural. This photo features forest fires. Forest fires also cause deforestation. They can be caused by natural causes, yes. Kung masyado nang mainit talaga yung panahon, and dry na rin na dry talaga yung mga damo, may tendency talaga na yung sun, the heat of the sun is going to start fires. And that fire has the ability to, of course, to spread. And with that spreading of fire, we can just expect that even yung ibang mga malalapit na mga areas na meron namang mga damo na hindi naman dry, meron na mga trees na hindi rin naman ganun ka-dry, may still also be subjected to this intense temperature and thus burn them. So that's also a cause of deforestation. There are also times when forest fires were induced. So, irresponsible throwing of lit cigarettes, or irresponsible throwing of other materials that may start fire easily or quickly. Those also may cause or may induce forest fires. The next cause of deforestation are typhoons, especially in the Philippines. Tayo ay nagsisilbing we are lying on along the path of typhoons, of most typhoons formed in the Pacific. And because of the location of our country, we are experiencing typhoons, not just any typhoon, pero mga tremendous typhoons din, and their intensities, their wind speeds, they can actually range to almost to really escalating levels, like really escalated levels. So, kung ganun kalakas ang hangin, merong capability yung ganong klaseng kalakas na hangin na mag-fell din ng mga trees, even though hindi siya man-induced, it's nature-induced naman. So, just like in this photo, as you can see, these trees were either uprooted or natanggalan sila ng mga tips na mayroong leaves which are needed for photosynthesis. And so that is now going to either really kill the tree, or it may just make the life of that tree a bit more difficult. The next topic is going to be what are going to be the effects of deforestation. So the first effect that we will be talking about is erosion. Cutting down of trees or the felling of trees, it can cause erosion of land because there will be no more roots holding the land together. The roots of these trees, of these forms of life, are reaching deep. Okay, so they are reaching deep, and because of that depth that they are capable of reaching, na-hold nila yung land at a certain kind of depth as well. So, kahit na anong mangyari sa taas, hindi kaagad malulusaw yung topsoil. Hindi siya kaagad mawawash out because of the holding capacity na mayroon ang mga plants in that area. Now, if halimbawa wala nang plants and yung mga nandun na lang are just random roots, or they were parts of roots ng mga trees na nandoon dati, those don't have the capacity to hold that land together. So kapag halimbawa konting ulan lang, konting flooding lang, pwede nang mag-cause yun ng erosion. Another leading effect of deforestation are floods. So no need to elaborate this kasi plants, and aside from they have the ability to absorb or to hold the land together, they also have the ability to maintain a landscape. And so kapag halimbawa yung landscape ay bumababa na because of the decrease in the number of trees in a highland, mag-erode pababa yung soil, pwedeng mangyari yon, and so malelevel siya, and so with a bigger lower space comes a bigger reservoir for water, and thus floodings can take place. Meron ding ibang mga references na nagsasabi that water can be absorbed by trees, okay, by plant forms. Perhaps you can also consider that as something that would have avoided floodings to take place from taking place. Ayun. Another effect of deforestation is that wildlife. So when we say wildlife, we can refer to plant life, animal life. And when we say animal life, not just mammals, not just reptiles, hindi lang basta amphibians ang pinag-uusapan natin. We're also talking about other chordates, about invertebrates. We're also talking about insects, because these are they are all, even fungi, because these organisms that are living together in a particular habitat, they are actually capable of maintaining their own food webs and food chains, and thus help the ecosystem have a state of be in a state of equilibrium. And when forests were taken down, nakiklear ang mga forests, what happens is that yung habitats din nila nawawala. So the ecosystem, the carrying capacity of that particular ecosystem is going to be affected. Now that ends the discussion for the first topic, which is deforestation. Let us now talk about water pollution. So as you can see here in this illustration, so let me just get my laser pointer. And so we have these terms: precipitation, which refers to rains on the pwedeng snow, okay, rain or snow. And then may mga this is a residential area, and then we have here what you call residential runoff. Those are obviously roads. Septic tanks are also found near these houses, or in these houses. And there are these agriculture and livestock runoff. So pwedeng they are raising pigs, raising other livestock, and then they're also planting trees here, or perhaps they're maintaining a farm, a plantation in here. Ayan. And fertilizers are also being used here. Okay, and then of course kapag umulan, mawawash off yan papunta sa body of water, even this factory right here. Ayan. So as you can see, may mga nagbe-beach din dito. It's residential. And then that's a part of the ocean. This is a river estuary. These are parts of bodies of water kung saan nagme-meet yung salt water and the fresh water. And then from highly urbanized areas, buildings na merong iba't ibang mga industries, they also have their share of runoff kasi inuulan din naman sila. Yung water nagpupunta rin dito sa body of water na to. Now, because of the tremendous amount of nitrogen and phosphorus and other organic materials, organic wastes, what happens here is that there is this proliferation of algae. Okay, so since there is so much nutrients in here, in this part of this body of water, na-encourage yung growth ng algae. Again, na-encourage yung growth ng algae. Algae are good. Like, they are fundamentally good. They are alive. They are photosynthetic. And they're supposed, of course, to give off oxygen, right? Now, but what happens is eutrophication. Eutrophication is the case when there is too much algae naman na napoproduce. Okay? And then, kapag yung mga algae na yun na napoproduce, they have the ability to just eat up or to just consume the nutrients na deposit dito sa part na to ng body of water. So they can use that up. They'll keep on reproducing until the last piece of the waste of the organic waste was used up. And after a while, kapag masyado na silang marami, tas naubos na yung nutrients, what happens to them is that they die. And upon dying, they will just settle to the bottom. And settling to the bottom now will be encouraging. So as you can see here, may mga dead algae. When they settle at the bottom yan, the detritus, or yung bodies nila, they're going to be decomposed by bacteria. So yung bacteria niyan, they will be eating up the algae, the dead algae, and in that process, they need oxygen. And these bacteria are going to consume oxygen from the water. And since maraming algae namatay, maraming bacteria ang magko-consume ng mga algae. And since maraming bacteria ang nagko-consume ng algae, marami ring oxygen ang kakailangan nila. And kung maraming oxygen ang kinailangan nila, it will come to a point when all of the oxygen in that particular part of this body of water is going to be used up by that bacteria. Taking away the oxygen na supposedly sana gagamitin din ng ibang life forms, say mga fish, o kaya ng mga iba pang mga organisms that are living in that water too. And eutrophication in this case leads to fish kill. That is a natural process, kaso napapabilis lang siya because of the various activities that we do as humans. The second one is biological magnification. Again, the second one is biological magnification. The bodies of water are also polluted by different toxic wastes. Okay, so untreated sewage and fertilizer runoff from farmlands, yung mga na-discuss din natin kanina. They can go, of course, to bodies of water. Again, how? Through precipitation. Kapag umulan dito sa taas, yung tubig, of course, maghahanap yan ng lowland. So, pupunta siya, madedeposit siya sa bodies of water. Among them are chemicals, dangerous chemicals like polychlorinated biphenyl. So, kanina, yung organic wastes, gagamitin siya ng algae so that they would be able to proliferate, and with that proliferation comes the term eutrophication. And you know what happens kapag nangyaring eutrophication. But now, for the other chemicals dangerous chemicals such as PCB, what happens is biomagnification. So let's say, for instance, wala pa naman nangyaring eutrophication dito. Meron lang is the deposit of PCB and other toxic wastes. So what happens now? First is, of course, magkakaroon ng tawag doon, ng pollution muna dapat, okay, sa taas. And then, because of precipitation or ulan, magkakaroon ng runoff, okay, from the land, from highland to lowland. Tapos, the phytoplanktons or algae are going to absorb polychlorinated biphenyl. So, kakainin nila yan or i-ingest nila yan. Now, these organisms serve as food for zooplankton, which are quite bigger pero they're heterotrophic. So, they rely on phytoplanktons, which are like plants producers, for food. So these are zooplanktons. They are heterotrophic. And in turn, these zooplankton are going to be eaten by, say, a herring. So an herring is going to eat these zooplanktons, and that herring is going to be in turn eaten by a salmon, and then the salmon is going to be eaten by some large mammals such as orca whales. So from this level of intoxication to this level of intoxication to this level of intoxication up until this level of intoxication. So these PCB stays in the body of these phytoplanktons, tapos nakakain itong isang zooplankton na to ng mga dalawa. Tapos itong herring plankton na to, nakakain naman siya ng maraming mga zooplanktons na to. Tapos yung PCB hindi naman nawala sa system. They just stayed in the bodies of these organisms until na magnify na lang sila, dumami na lang sila. And so any organism that will eat this salmon na mayroong PCB sa loob niya, say for instance, tao, makukuha niya, lalo na kung kinain niya ng buo ang salmon na to, makukuha niya lahat yung PCB na nasa kanya. Something na hindi naman niya alam is sinubo niya or in-ingest niya. That ends the discussion for water pollution. So please remember eutrophication as well as biological magnification or biomagnification. For air pollution, we go back to our previous video, which is including the discussion of greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases include water vapor. Yes, it's a greenhouse gas. Are you surprised? Yes, it's a greenhouse gas. Carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, ozone, and some artificial chemicals such as chlorofluorocarbons. The greenhouse effect is a natural process that warms the Earth's surface. It's a natural process. And just like eutrophication, as a natural process, we have the capability to speed it up. And that capability is not actually something good for us too. Kasi ang nangyayari is we turn out hurting nature. Now, when the sun's energy reaches the Earth's atmosphere, some of it, that energy, is reflected back to space, and the rest is absorbed by the Earth. Now, some naman are being re-radiated by greenhouse gases because of this. Okay, so as you can see, the heat will be passing through this thin layer of glass into the Earth. Ayan. Tapos yung Earth, in turn, it can radiate that heat back to the outer space. Ang iba naman, yung mga greenhouse gases, what they can do is they can block some of that heat and throw it back to the Earth, making the space of the Earth warmer. I would like you to observe the following. Okay, it's actually a GIF. So observe lang. Number 1, solar radiation reaches the Earth's atmosphere. Some of this is reflected back to space. So radiation, some of it back to space. Number 2, the rest of the sun's energy is absorbed by the land and the oceans, heating the Earth. So the rest is absorbed by the ocean and heating the Earth. Step 3, heat radiates from Earth towards space. Some of it is radiating back towards space. Some of this heat is trapped by greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, keeping the Earth warm enough to sustain life. Okay, that is true. There are some greenhouse gases that are doing that. Human activities such as burning fossil fuels, agriculture, and land clearing are increasing the amount of greenhouse gases released into the atmosphere. So there is a natural amount of greenhouse gases, pinaparami natin yun. Okay, this is trapping extra heat and causing the Earth's temperature to rise. That is what is wrong. Okay, greenhouse effect is a natural process. Okay, but because of irresponsible use of fossil fuels, burning of fossil fuels, because of the irresponsible use of chlorofluorocarbons and other fluorocarbons, and because of the use of other harmful greenhouse gases and in tremendous amounts, what we are doing is we are making this good process look bad or be bad. Okay, so enough heat is good, but too much heat, of course, is not. Especially if we think about biodiversity, especially if we think about other organisms living on this planet aside from us. I hope that as a grade 9 student, you learned something about the three discussions that we have today: deforestation, water pollution, and air pollution. This is the Knowledge Catalog. It is a brand being developed by a teacher creator. I am a high school teacher in the Philippines, and I love developing content I find useful and needed to better my instruction. If you want to support me, you may leave a like to this video. Please don't forget that. You may also subscribe to this channel. Please don't forget that as well. Or you may also click the bell button for you to receive notifications when I upload new stuff like this. So, ganito lang naman ang mga ina-upload ko. So, if you consider this helpful, like in a way, yeah, it will be good if you get notified once I upload new content. So if you can also leave constructive comments in the comment section. Syempre, as a new creator, constructive comments are very much appreciated, and I would like to thank you in advance for doing that. Have a good one.